One of our fellow classmates, Gibson, received a scholarship for his excellent track record. We had some people cover that story, and here's that.
That was some spicy running over there. Some of our school athletes can run like this every day. And it takes a lot of effort and energy to do this kind of stuff. Let's talk about Gibby and his achievements in track and how he got this scholarship for college.
They have all the sports I want to do, cross country, indoor and outdoor track, and that was pretty much the turning point. Definitely the community was, a great part of it, the team. I had a lot of people helping me, especially like when I was going down some rough patches, I had a lot of people pull me back up and keep me on track. So definitely the people. I mean, I'm just gonna see how it goes, but that's the ultimate plan, see if I can run somewhere bigger, finish out a better degree.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hello, this is Emily Daniels from Nctv. We went down to the Stagel Agency to find out about car insurance, and this is what we learned.
What the founders of the United States did is they said, we want to do this like British common law. British common law would say that if I would do something and I would hurt anybody, then I am then liable to bring them back to the economic place they were at before I did my dastardly deed. You're driving along and you miss a light. You're doing something else. You run into somebody. You hurt them. You are then liable to help that other person. The importance of insurance basically is to restore yourself. Not everybody needs all the same coverages. If you have an older vehicle, for instance, and there's not really a lot to protect, liability is fine. The liability comes in different levels. For instance, the law requires that you have a certain amount of liability. If I was to run into another car, not only would I damage the car, but I could possibly hurt them physically, of which would mean they'd have medical bills. Well, I would still be liable for those medical bills. The law states that you can't have insurance less than coverage covering $25,000 for somebody's medical bills and $20,000 for any physical damage you do. If your vehicle is worth more, you would want to probably put collision and comprehensive on. Collision is basically three things. You're having a single car accident, you had a collision and your car could be damaged. Well, you want your car fixed. That's one. Two would be if somebody else runs into you, your vehicle is damaged with another car, but it's still your fault. That's the third. If somebody runs into you, may I add, and it's their fault, then their liability is supposed to pay it. Unless they don't have insurance, of which you can't get blood out of a turnip. I mean, you can still go and try to sue these guys, but what would happen is you'd be kind of out.
Thanks, Jim, for teaching us something about car insurance. I hope you guys have learned something out.
Well, I definitely learned something from that. Yesterday, Natrona High School lost a valued member of our community. Brett Reed was a senior involved in ROTC and played bass drum in the Fighting Mustang Marching Band. He was the kind of a guy who you could talk and he wouldn't judge you at all, and he was all around an awesome guy. He will be missed dearly.
In honor of Brett today, this percussion ensemble is going to do what we do best. We're going to throw a party on stage. I have with me his hat and his water bottle. He used to leave his water bottle in the band room just about every single day. And so we'd like to just keep his memory alive of having him on stage with us. This is for him.
Ben wore blue and played in honor of Brett.
Last weekend, NCHS hosted their annual production of Follies. The show was a day in the life. Mr. Schneider, as well as some students, have a few words to say about it.
Follies is a tradition that was started at NC back in the 1920s, before there were even stage musicals to do. And it was a way for students around the school to show off talents that they had. And it's a tradition we started back up again a couple of years ago, and we're going to do every few years. Follies was written by students. The theme that we had was a day in the life, and the idea is to take every little day things that happen during your high school classes and make them dramatic, make them worthy of putting on stage.
So right now we're working on our cops film that we're doing for Follies.
Follies is like a giant theater presentation mainly. It's just where they have a bunch of acts in a show. My favorite part about Follies was just the acting. Like the kids there, they did great. I mean, very well. I mean, you could tell they took forever with it. I just wish there was more time to the plays. I mean, it felt like it was just cut really short. A lot of magic in the air. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a great time. I mean, I had fun. I mean, it seems like all the other kids there had fun. I mean, everyone tried a lot. They tried their hardest. I think we just got a lot of stuff accomplished. I think it's going to move NC's theater production forward a lot more.
For us to use photos she took, so a big thank you to Ms. Harris.
There are things that are perfectly okay with being shown in public. There are things that are not okay with being shown in public. One of those is indecent exposure, so don't be doing that. You'll get in a lot of trouble. Luckily, this story has nothing to do with that, and it's about art and not nudie birds. Kason, Isaac, and Preston covered the story.
Keep Casper Beautiful is a movement in the Natrona County area to promote art in and around Casper. Recently, they held a competition for artwork to be placed on power boxes around town. We spoke with Caitlin Yerhammer, a winner of the competition, who recently had her art put up around town.
I am Caitlin Yerhammer, or Miss Yerhammer. It's not my hammer, it's your hammer, as some of my students know me, and I teach art here at NCHS. One of my pieces was chosen to be a part of the Keep Casper Beautiful project. It's called Rocky Mountain Communications. It's an image of two different elk, and they're connected via electrical wire, and there's electricity running down both wires. I've spread them out so that they appear to be in possible two different locations at once. One is backdropped by the Devil's Tower, and the other is backdropped by the Tetons. And that's going to be going up hopefully by the first week of June, so that it'll be up on the first art walk. And that is being placed on the corner of 2nd Street and Kimball Street, which is at the back corner of the Nicolason Art Museum. This is the second year that the Keep Casper Beautiful electrical box wrap contest has been going on. Last year, I believe they chose 4 pieces also, and this year they had a lot better turnout. There was I think about 50 or 60 different pieces of artwork that were submitted to be chosen from. And as far as I know, they're going to be up forever and ever. I'm not sure if they're going to be changed out in the near future or not, but I'm really flattered to have my impact made not only in my students, but also in terms of my artwork in the city of Casper. The Keep Casper Beautiful project has been going on relatively, I think, about 3 years now. Mr. Tony Elmore, who used to work here, he's now been gone the last 2 years. He works really closely with them. He's done 3 different murals around town, and there's a big fox in the downtown parking garage that he did as part of that project. And he also did one under the McKinley Bridge that goes underneath the overpass for that project as well. So this positively affects the community because it beautifies our space up, and especially with the eclipse that's coming up, it gives people a really good idea about the diversity that's all within Casper, and that we're kind of growing to be an arts-centered community and support our local artists and local patrons, because only people that lived or worked in Natrona County were allowed to submit artwork for the project.
The goal of this program is to culturally diversify the city of Casper by promoting local art and prominently displaying works in public areas. It's hoped that the effects of this movement will remain in Casper for years to come. This has been Kason Yerhammer from Nctv, signing off.
We would like to congratulate Caitlin Yerhammer for being chosen by the judges. We would also like to congratulate Skylar Eads for her honorable mention in the same competition.
Well, Audie, what do you think about this year?
It's pretty fun. I'm glad you're here to help me finish it, but I think we should see what the rest of the crew has to say.
saying something or?
I don't know.
Just say bye.
Bye. Have a good summer. That was cringy.